Okay, so I'm here with Dr. Greg Bonds, who's the Senior Associate Athletic Director here at Jacksonville State University. And we're going to ask Dr. Bonds some questions about the sports management program and what his role is here at JSU, and see if we can get some further insight and answers and kind of go from there.
Okay.
So if you would, Dr. Bonds, if you'd like to, kind of introduce yourself and what your role is, how long you've been at JSU, and all that fun stuff.
Okay, I'm Greg Bonds, Senior Associate Athletic Director. Started work at JSU August 1st, 1991, which that's 32 years, I guess I'm going on, and got my undergraduate degree in physical education in 1990, got my master's degree in 1991, and got my start actually as a student here in sports medicine. And so, but growing up, I was involved in sports, wanted to be involved in sports, but knew I could not by any means play collegiate sports. So, how do you get involved? And, I thought I had the bright idea I wanted to be a coach. And so, but had to get involved in some way. So in sports medicine, and then a job opened up in women's basketball, actually. As a graduate assistant, a position opened up. I was very fortunate to move into that, and then was in that position for 5 years and realized, coaching's short term, very volatile. And so an administrative role opened up in academics. And then that led into compliance, which led into the business side of athletics. And so I've been in that since 2008.
Wow, okay.
So
you've probably seen a lot of changes since 2008.
Yes.
Okay.
When I first started, in 2008, we didn't even have computers at the time. When I started work here, I maybe not needed as much. And cell phones, of course, were not, smartphones were not what they are now, or even invented at the time. So
yeah. So do you have any? Do you have a particular role, or how does your role interact with like public relations or media relations as it relates to the athletic department, or I guess the university as a whole, if you have to address anything from a public relations standpoint?
Yeah, a lot of times. Always looking for ways to promote the university in a good way, and athletics does that. People love sports. They love to read about JSU and, of course, other sports teams in the state or country. And so working here with our folks, what's really grown, used to be it was just a newspaper article. Hope you'd read it, the Gadsden Times or Anniston Star or whatever. Well, now it's turned into the social media side. Is if you're not doing that, you're left behind. So you talk about social media, now it's probably it was Facebook, then it was the Twitter, then it was the Instagram, then it was the...
Now it's TikTok is really heavy.
TikTok's the thing, it's just so many, it's just changes, and you have to hit every, the older you are, you might be looking on the internet, at the webpage, and to the youngers looking at the TikTok. So you just have to be able to manage all of that. So and to get the word out.
Okay. Do you have do you work with those departments much in your current role, or
not directly involved, but certainly they're always looking for input for ideas and or proofing things that go out, things like that. So.
Okay. Let's see. So tell me about your involvement with the Graduate Sports Management Program. Noticed you are an adjunct faculty member. So how did you get into that program, and then how do you feel that program translates into maybe your position or other positions in athletics?
Yeah, it's worked out very well. Never did I think that was something I might do or enjoy doing, but I'm trying to think back. Probably Dr. Mabry early on. Dr. Gilbert, and then Dr. Overton has come along. I started teaching the law class probably before I got my doctorate degree, probably 8 years ago, I guess.
Oh, wow.
And so just got involved in really enjoyed that, because it's a lot of that is things we deal with here in this office is things we deal with in that class, and try to tailor those classes, because you may have some folks that are more at the high school level. So I mean, it's just all kinds. You try to tailor the class to the different needs where they get to see a touch of whether it's secondary school, post-secondary, or even issues in professional sports, but how they all kind of mesh together. So, but it's been fun, and I've learned probably as much as they have, trying to stay on top of it.
And you were an education major, as you said.
Yeah.
And the graduate in sports management program allows people from a lot of discipline or a lot of undergraduate degrees into the program, that kind of correlate, like communications, public relations,
yes.
Business even. Do you feel, how does that, do you feel like that, there's a good variety, or do those majors bring something different to the table than maybe a kinesiology or sports medicine major might?
Yeah, it does. In addition to that law, I've had the chance to teach the sport administration, the facilities course. So, but the primary has been the legal, but sports management now touches anything and everything. When I got started, I started out in sports medicine, mm-hmm. of all things. Back then, unless you played or coached, your only involvement really was sports medicine, or you maybe a manager for the team, or you worked in the media relations side. That was it. I mean, what else was there to do?
Yeah.
Well, now you've got strength and conditioning, you've got nutrition, you've got analytics, you've got, on the media relations side, nothing was probably even invented in. We got a graphic designer. Now we have the ESPN broadcast, radio broadcast. Trying to think what else. Of course, the compliance side has really grown and leaving so many things out of the physical therapy side. Even the training room stuff is just really taken off. Now we have a cryo machine downstairs in the training room, X-ray machine. So you've got, it's become so specialized that if somebody's interested in sports, then there's a place somewhere to get involved as a student, or to lead into a professional. And I think that's what the great thing about sports management here. It's unlimited possibilities of what you can do.
Yeah, and I like that it's a well-rounded program, as you look at the course listing, it does touch on a little bit of everything, from law to public relations to event planning, different things of that nature.
Yeah,
so you have a lot of different, things mixed into, one degree to kind of, prepare you,
mm-hmm.
For multiple areas when you get into it. How does your position interact with the athletic director? As far as, duties and responsibilities.
Yeah, we work real close together on anything and everything. From today, we had a football game management meeting, and with the whole campus-wide and people. So it could be anything from event management, like we're planning right now for just a single game, to now we're looking for head coaches in the middle of the year,
that's right.
assistant coaches. So, we've got this transition from ASUN, not just the conference transition from ASUN to Conference USA, but in that is the jump from football championship subdivision to FBS football, which is a huge jump. The jump is not going to be as big for the other sports. They've been that way for 25 years, this jump in football. And so things are going to change from that standpoint, from travel to scholarships to recruiting to, the academic side, so just a lot of, it's something new every day. A lot of the same every day, but then there's always something new.
Never a dull moment, right?
Never a dull moment. So,
does the potential of adding in an 18th sport, does that Has that been a challenge as well as far as planning and coming up with the?
Because in all that, going back to that, the legal side of that, you always got to be concerned with the gender equity side, because as well football scholarships, you got to make sure you try to be as proportionate as possible with number of female participants as male participants, and so that's the plan is next fall of 23 to add bowling, women's bowling, which is a popular sport, and I think will be good. So always looking at those kind of things. We added beach volleyball 5 years ago or so, and it's a popular sport. So it's always trying to manage those kind of things also.
Does your athletic department have anything to do with like esports? I know that's kind of a new popular thing. I know they've talked about the potential of maybe adding a course or degree or something in esports, but I didn't know if that would run through the athletic department at all.
Yeah,
or if it's
probably not run through us, but that is a popular area that's growing. A lot of that's driving enrollment at a lot of places to do that. But that would, if that ever happened here, I don't think that would fall under the athletic side. Probably more under the student, not student government, but student affairs area.
Yeah, I could see that. Let's see. So that's all for my formal questions. Would you like to? Is there anything additional you'd like to add, or anything I might have left out that you may like to cover?
No. What else would you like to cover?
That's really
help you with this project or anything else.
That's kind of it with this project.
Okay. I know, like with my current role, this office, like another, probably I'm not the only one, but this office touches human resources, which you're very familiar with. It touches procurement. It touches accounts payable, the bursar's office. So many people, and that's been a great, part of this. We have so many good people on campus that get to interact with, and so that's been a fun part. It's been challenging, of course, for a lot of folks. Following those of us that were here for the tornado and then through the pandemic. It's just been wow. We persevere through all this.
Been learning how to walk again, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just a challenge after challenge, but this university always, handles it, goes above and beyond to overcome those kind of things. So
we are Gamecock strong, right?
That's right.
All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Bonds. We'll wrap up our interview with that and go from there.